Hi everyone. Today I shall be doing Act 4 Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice, and a very important part of this scene is Portia's mercy speech. Portia says, "The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as a gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch's better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above this sceptred sway. It is enthroned in the hearts of kings, and it is an attribute to God himself. The earthly power doth then show likest God, when mercy seasoned with justice. Therefore due, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I have spoke thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which, if thou follow this strict court of Venice, must needs give sentence against the merchant there." Now, line by line explanation of this very important speech. Portia says, mercy is a virtue which does not work under any compulsion. It drops softly from the human heart as drops of rain fall from the sky on the earth below. It is a double blessing. Now, why is it a double blessing? Because it gives happiness to both the person who shows mercy, excuse me, and to the person who receives it. It appears most magnificent in persons most highly placed in life. It adorns a king better than the crown he wears. The scepter of the king is the symbol of his earthly power. You have seen the king holding a scepter, means the rule of the kings, or which is symbolized as the authority that the kings hold on their subject. So this scepter of a king is a symbol of his earthly power, the authority which he holds on his subjects, which gives rise to feelings of awe and respectful fear. It is an emblem of the king's power to govern. But mercy in its place is far above the earthly power. Now, why is it far above the earthly power? Because the true place is in the heart of the kings. And mercy is in the heart of the kings, and it is a quality that is associated with God himself. So the earthly power of a king looks like a divine power when the king softens the rigors of justice by tempering it with mercy. Therefore, Shylock, you insist on strict justice, please remember that if we were to be judged by the Almighty Himself, God Himself, then none of us would have salvation. We all pray to God for mercy, and this very prayer in itself should teach us to be more merciful to others. Portia lastly says, I have said all this to soften your demand for justice, and that is the reason why I have said all this. That strict justice, but if you still insist on the demand, the impartial court of Venice is bound to give its sentence against Antonio. So Portia, in this speech, has compared mercy as the most powerful, most effective when practiced by the mighty, by the powerful. And mercy is so important. She makes this impassioned plea for mercy by pointing out that it is not an attribute of weakness. She says it is the effect. She says its effect, is greatest and noblest when exercised by the great and the powerful. Though the law gives them absolute power to the mighty, absolute power to enforce justice on his or her subjects, but it sheds upon a king a brighter light or lustre than the crown which he wears on his head, which is an emblem of his sovereign authority. The king's scepter, she says, is an outward symbol of earthly power. It gives him majesty, fills his subjects with dread and fear of him. But mercy is far above earthly power. It is far above earthly power. It is in the heart and soul of a king, and it befits a king more than his crown or his scepter. The scepter can only bring control over his subjects or physical submission, whereas mercy touches the hearts of his subjects, wins love and respect from them. The temporal power is the attribute of the earthly kings, but mercy is an attribute of God, the King of Kings. Earthly kings approach nearest in attribute to their Almighty when they make use of the divine attribute of mercy. Thank you for watching, and do keep watching my videos for a complete insight into your short stories, poems, as well as your novels. That is Shakespeare. Bye for now.